with Mikey Mahtook. Got the boys in. I got Lloyd. We got J. Mitch. We got Jackie Boyd.
He tried to jump up, and he might have knocked it in.
Good timing. Let's go. What a start to the Monday. I mean, I'm from Lafayette. My boys will come in and say,
oh, God. So me and Joe on the ground. I got Joe in the headlock. And he's sitting there, he's punching me in the stomach, like, punching me.
Here, is everyone sitting around? Who here thinks Chico can practice today after having 5 full beers? And he goes, Chad Jones, right? Chad Jones. 6 minutes. For 7 minutes, right? Chad's like, no, man, I don't think Chico can practice today. And I was like, I look back and I'm like, Jesus Christ. I saw you there. You were more fucked up than me.
On the spirit plane had some issues, I think. She was sleep farting.
you heard her or you just thought it was her?
I sat right next to her. I smelled.
Whoa. What was that?
Time for
Good
the
show.
Spring training. Are you gonna bring your chinchilla and your turtle? My dad tell you about it?
The SEC is God, they hate fat people. I mean, I get crushed for that. You know what I mean? It's like, come on, man.
Hey, just the South, bro. You got a bunch of food down here. Like they should.
Look at Lloyd.
You know what, Lloyd?
You're looking for a recruiting coordinator, coach. I'm here.
He's like, I'll piss my pants right now.
No way.
We're wearing gray pants, long gray pants. He goes, I'll piss my pants right now. Hello. Welcome back to Mik'd Up. Today is Monday, February 17th. It's the first Monday recapping college baseball weekend. A lot of really good things to talk about from LSU baseball from this past weekend. Obviously, the pitching staff was the story. They were completely dominant. I know the team and the competition they played was not great, but what they did, the numbers they put up, it didn't matter how good or how bad the team was. If they do what they continue to do that, fill up the zone, throw strikes, attack hitters, you're gonna see these results happen a lot more frequently. We're gonna get into the details of that as we go, but it was a weekend sweep. I think they only gave up 2 runs all weekend to Purdue Fort Wayne. They hit 370 as a team, stole a bunch of bases, took a bunch of extra bases. Obviously, the offense is going to continue to develop, but the pitching staff was the story. We're going to talk about why it was a story. One of their better pitchers in the bullpen that they're going to rely on a lot throughout the course of the year didn't even throw an inning, and that's Connor Ware. So was very impressive to see, very encouraging to see compared to last year when they led the league in strikeouts but also led the league in walks, right? Having 45 or 46 strikeouts, whatever it was over the weekend, only 2 walks. I think that's something to build on. You saw a lot of freshmen contribute. You saw a lot of young guys get in there and make their impact. Aaron Beatty played. I think he had a couple hits. Curiel was in the lineup every day. He hit a home run. He had his first collegiate home run, and he did his things. Ashton Larson did not start opening day, which we talked about the lineup as it came out. Kind of shocked by that. He ended up playing the next 2 games, made the most of it, 4 for 6 with 7 RBIs and a home run. He had a good weekend. Bear Jones I know the numbers aren't going to look super gaudy, but I think what he did was extremely important by being patient, making the pitchers come to him, and accepting walks and allowing himself to get on base and continue to set the table for the other guys behind him. He's going to have to be patient, which leads to the next question that me and Jay talked a little bit about off the air that we're going to get into. Who protects him along the way to help mitigate those walks and just teams just throwing around him, because he's your legitimate power threat in the middle of the lineup. Someone else has to emerge as that guy, but he is guaranteed to be that guy. William Schmidt obviously looked really good. We got a lot of baseball conversations today. It's going to be Monday. It's going to be a lot of baseball talk. Doug Thompson in studio at 6:30 to talk all things LSU baseball, to recap the weekend, talk about the pitching staff. He called all 3 games in the booth, and so he had a firsthand look, bird's eye view, if you will, of the game and of the players and what they looked like. And I'm sure he's talked to Jay since. And then speaking of Jay, Coach Jay Johnson on the show at 7:15 tonight to recap the weekend from his point of view. So you get 2 perspectives, one person calling the game, LSU legend pitcher here, and the other guy calling the game from the dugout as the head ball coach of the LSU Tigers. But big Monday for you, big baseball show for you today. Looking very much forward to this conversation. Lloyd, how was your weekend? Oh, baseball fantasy. We have the baseball fantasy update. Obviously, it's a week-to-week thing. You don't win. You don't win weeks.
Yeah.
You don't win by weeks. It's a long
If I were you,
deal.
I would say you do.
It's a long.
Nope.
You can't. Hey, it's a long season. Okay, so we're just gonna update it weekly as we go. LSU has 2 midweek games, Tuesday and Wednesday. Tomorrow, a little matinee, a little 2:00 matinee day game midweek.
I think I'm gonna go.
You're gonna go? I can't. Maybe I'll go a little late. Maybe.
Yeah,
I can't go right there at 2. A little matinee, and then you got a night game on the road at Nickel. Is going to be a little chilly.
Not going to that one.
No, going to be a little chilly, and then you got this freeze coming in again, which is not cool. But how was your weekend?
Phil.
How was your weekend?
Excellent. Obviously got to get into the baseball when we got to Friday. Was awesome to go.
It was a nice little mandate.
It was a nice little Valentine's Day mandate.
Yep.
And so we got to see the boys, and that was a fun opportunity to go see them, see how they played, and how it was aggressive. Felt like a different LSU baseball that they were trying to show off, and you got all of it. And then Alexandria for somebody's birthday.
Oh, you did go to Alec this weekend.
Crawfish boil and a birthday.
Yeah, so the joke doesn't hit whenever I talk to you on the phone and you make the joke and you're not in Alec, and then I send you a text and then I talk to you.
Day.
And then you respond to me after, says, "Oh, I'm in Alec," after we just had the conversation of you not being Alec. But it's okay.
Yeah, Mikey always gives me a nice little wake-up call.
Well, I have to call him before to make sure he's awake, which is sad to say. Jay, how was your weekend?
Oh, man, chill, man. Had a nice little. We did Valentine's Day on Saturday.
Nice.
Better.
Where'd
Don't
y'all
fight the crowd as much.
Where'd y'all go?
We went to this sushi spot in River Oaks. Good. I think it was a Zumi, maybe something like that. It was good. It was just put it like that. It was good. They didn't miss. So, nice little ambiance, nice little dinner, chill. It was good. We had a good weekend.
Well, good. I'm happy. A lot to talk about today, obviously.
How was the Giggle Squad? No fights?
Oh, the Giggly Squad.
Everybody cleared? Oh.
For the Giggly Squad.
I'm just saying, for Valentine's Day, feels like
we're good.
We all cleared.
We're great.
We went to
we went to dinner on Thursday. Had a great dinner. There he is, Dougie. Come in here. We're just talking, shooting the shit, waiting for you to get in here. Doug Thompson. We start at 6, Coach.
Oh, it's how I know you watch all the time.
Hey, Dougie, back in here, talking about baseball. Look, you see Jay. You have to put your headphones on and everything. Oh, look at that.
Just one?
Yeah.
You did. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Wait, there's a look.
Is this for me? Because you heard about my ability to throw a football.
I've heard.
All right.
It's legendary. You gotta just put the headset
just
so you can talk to Jared.
Just bark through that microphone.
Look at Jay Mitch. Is he here in Baton Rouge?
He is not. He's in Houston.
Houston.
He's in Houston. Coach, I knew you'd get here early. You always get here early.
Well, things ended a little quicker than I thought with my kid. And
you got kicked out?
No, I actually outsourced the pickup. I outsourced the pickup, so I was able to get here with you guys a little sooner. Yeah, man.
Well, we're pumped. We just had the intro. We're going through the weekend. How was your weekend before we get into everything else?
Good, man. We worked through some kinks, had fun.
Oh,
Buzz and I
happy
had fun.
Valentine's Day.
Well, there you go. Well, I was at the box, unfortunately.
Oh.
Yeah. Alec box. But no, man, we had fun. It's always a good time. And
Yeah. Skip, you had Skip in there, I heard.
Skip,
Yeah.
I randomly walked outside the press box. He was walking in and said, Coach, you want to go? Ooh, yeah, let's do it. And it was great.
Yeah, of course.
He's always great. He said the dugout was full of two double-fisted milk drinkers.
I heard that. I was actually listening. What does that mean?
Double-fisted milk drinkers. He's the good kids. Good kids. Said he didn't have. He never had any of those.
You don't need. You don't always need to be.
He said
good
I didn't
kids.
have one of those. So,
Not one.
Not one.
Not one. It's okay. How'd that make you feel?
Well, I felt like he was attacking a bunch of guys at one time. I mean, I felt like there were some milk drinkers mixed in there.
But you got 5 natties. It's okay. It worked out.
Yeah, it all worked out.
It all
Either
worked-
way.
Yeah, either way, it all worked out.
It did.
Speaking of national championship, it feels like Omaha is the future of this team. That's what everybody expects when you come to LSU. Ever since Jay has gotten here, since 2023, really, it's been, hey, this team is an Omaha-type team. This team is an Omaha-type team. Last year, the pieces didn't really mesh as early as they probably would have liked. And even with that, they were 1 out away from hosting a Super at Alex Box, which, when you do that, the chances of getting to Omaha are a lot higher. But this year, it feels a little different. Feels like Jay, it's going to sound weird because he's been there for so long already, but, feels like he kind of has the team, in his personality with the guy. Everybody he's brought in pretty much are his guys. The recruiting that he's done, the staff that he's put together had a lot of hype coming in, and it feels like they lived up to that, at least last weekend.
Look, it's early.
Yeah, early.
It's early, and I'm gonna take a note from Skip Burtman's book. The better the team, the more he would downplay it, because the last thing this team needs is more pressure.
Yeah,
because there's already pressure. So this weekend,
it's.
I'm going to say, I think the word I told Coach Jay this. I told Jamie Tutko, it's suffocating.
Yeah,
it was suffocating. It reminds me of that Florida team that had the 2 big arms on the front end, the kids on the back end, and when they came in, it was just ball game, 97 sinkers.
10-2, and the guy was throwing 98 or something.
Yeah, those guys.
Yeah.
It reminded me of that, like when certain games, like if they bring in these 3 guys, dude, we had 9 kids touch 95 or better. 9 kids.
Lloyd said 10.
10 was.
I think it was 9,
It
but
was put up. I don't want to
think
be
it
the
was
one to
9.
say LSUsports.net's wrong, but that could be your job.
They haven't been.
Kate Anderson was at 90. Kate Anderson was at 94.
Oh, maybe they rounded up.
94.2.
As I heard you like to say, if it's at 94.5,
Which I agree with.
You round up.
You round up.
Sure,
Yeah.
of course.
You round up.
Of course.
Yeah, you don't go down.
No, never.
Never. Even look, 94.48 goes up.
100%. When I came
how you
up,
get
it
on
was
the honor
just
roll.
it was what it is.
Yeah,
Now these
right.
guys get the decimals.
Yeah,
to bump
2
it up.
to 2 decimals.
But dude, 94.2 is the average fastball over the course of the weekend.
pretty good.
I googled today the average fastball in a major league series, 4-game series, 94 miles an hour.
You know what it was when we were playing?
Do tell.
90.5 miles an hour. 91 miles an hour.
So I think there's 2 things,
crazy.
the better strength and conditioning, the earlier in life strength and conditioning specifically to be. Now you're a PO at age 11, 12.
Yeah, right,
They
which is
know.
awful.
They know. And I think it's that bigger, faster, stronger, the evolution of man. But I think the guns and technology are also a little better. But who cares?
For sure.
Like I don't want to hear the story. Well, they didn't play anybody. They didn't. That team, probably hadn't been out of the gym yet. I can't even imagine how they must have felt for every new guy that came in.
No doubt.
Like, this guy's 97, 98 too.
We're trying to get to 83.
This guy's 6'9" too. Like they have 17 kids 6'3" or better. 35 kids 6 foot or better. Right.
Wow.
So
Lloyd, you've been
I
definitely
was
no
a Paul
chance.
guy, not a J guy.
it's impressive.
Yeah.
So how much? Yeah, they looked to make 45 strikeouts and 2 walks. Like
Pretty good.
I don't know if you could do that. Like
The only one guy in the
PlayStation 5. You know what I mean? Like I don't know that.
Yeah.
It's almost like, wow, like 45-2.
And it wasn't like they were chasing. They had got a lot of chases. They were coming at these guys.
Like, you're telling me 11, how many kids pitched? Nobody had a bad stuff like this weekend, and meaning they couldn't find the strike zone for a couple hitters. It happens all the time. 45-2. I mean, so my thing is, like, whoever they would have played this weekend in those conditions, especially on Friday and Sunday, would have been in a bind.
Yeah.
The Yankees themselves coming here this early in the season would have been in a bind dealing with that all weekend long. Not saying we'd have beat the Yankees. I'm saying offensively,
they had to lock it in.
They wouldn't have put up 10 runs a game.
Right.
Right. Like that is suffocating, man.
Yeah.
It's like a major league pitching staff, like just with less innings under their belt, and they're going to make more mistakes and things of that nature. But when you talk about like raw arm talent, it's like a major league pitching staff.
The one guy they had come out the bullpen that maybe if you looked at what he did the year before, that, this guy's 90, 93. That's Primo was 95, 96.
Dude, I mean,
from the left side.
William Schmidt, thank God we have him 3 years. Holy smokes, first round, he's like chance to be one of the best to ever do it here. But to be honest with you, like coming out of the bullpen, he's just another one of the guys. Like they're all bumping 95, 96, 98. The Rizzi kid?
Yeah, I know.
How did he end up in college?
How? Because he had to have been a starter in high school. Like he's not a closer in high school at that guy. He's
I don't know, but the taller they get, usually it gets a little more awkward. He looks 6'2", 210, or whatever the perfect size for an athlete. He looks as coordinated as can be.
Yeah, at 6'9".
And he's 97 and 99 with a sink. And dude,
that strikeout he had at 96 on the hands that just kept running was nasty. Jay, you got one?
Yeah, Doug, man. Hey, by the way, good to see you.
What's up, Jay Mitch?
It's been a minute. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Dude, so listen, I only got to see this thing on TV. You obviously were there in the flesh for all 3 games, right?
Yeah.
It sounds a whole lot, and I think it's pretty obvious that we're a lot of the conversation we're having right now is about the pitching staff. Like, obviously, outside of the size, obviously outside of just the velo, if you could like pinpoint something else that was super impressive, and more in particular with like the young guys that hadn't played at this stage yet, what stuck out to you as well?
The 2 walks. I mean, like 2 walks. Like I know that 45 strikeouts. I think I saw Todd Police say it's the most in a 3-game series since 1992. How many times have we had a 3-game series with 2 walks?
I don't know if that's ever happened.
I mean, that to me, Jay Mitch, is when they got to 3-1 or they got to 2-0, dude, they're coming at you. And they made some guys swing. And if you didn't know, if no one told me who were freshmen and who weren't, there was no visible indicators of anyone being a freshman out there. Nobody looked nervous. No one was erratic. These guys were just blowing these kids away. And again, like, I don't know that any team would have had a whole lot of success against what I saw this weekend. It was just really impressive. Like, not putting guys on base and striking them all out. That's like Paul Skeen's numbers.
And we talked about this before the show, and I want to ask you. I'm not gonna get to that question right now, but there's a question that me and Jay were kind of debating, because when you have a team this talented and you have a weekend, it's one weekend, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, things are gonna play itself out as it continues to go. Some guys are gonna get hot, some guys are gonna slump. It's just that's the way baseball works. But when you have a team that's clicking on all cylinders in opening weekend, and you're like, damn, this guy didn't start on Friday, but he's had 7 RBIs on the weekend. Where is he gonna fit in to the equation? Before I get to those conversations, for me, what was impressive, and as a pitcher, I think you can kind of relate to this, or you can kind of speak on this. Coming into the lineup, the one guy, every pitcher is looking at the lineup, the one guy they're saying, hey, we can't let this guy beat us, it's Jared Jones, right?
Yep.
Hey, this is the guy, you throw a mistake over the plate, this ball's going to get a hit off his face, which he did it once this weekend.
He did.
Right? And we just can't let this guy beat us. We're going to spin it, we're going to pitch around him, we're going to nibble, we're going to do whatever. And so freshman Jared Jones, get frustrated, chase, swing, get himself out, strike out, whatever it is. Junior Jared Jones didn't do that. He said, all right, I know what you're trying to do. I'm going to wait till you come into the zone. If you give me 1 pitch a weekend, fine. I'm going to walk 7 times, get on base, and just take what you give me. As a pitcher, how frustrating are you okay with that?
No, when you have a big guy up there and you're throwing your best strikeout pitches and he's spitting on them, you feel helpless. I mean, eventually you're going to have to sneak a fastball in there. Eventually there's going to be the bases loaded. There's no one, So his patience is what paid off last year. His ability to lay off the strikeout pitch, the slider that starts at the outside corner that everyone swings at, and he's going to see a lot of them this year. Of course, unless, the guys around him start to really swing it. I mean, last year, a lot of his success obviously could be directly attributed to Tommy White being in the lineup, right? So if we want to talk about offense for a little bit, there's a lot of weapons, and they can really move. Like, there's several kids in that lineup that can pick them up and put them down. Maybe not like Jared Mitchell, but can pick them up and put them down. And then I tell you what, another thing I noticed this weekend, like Dickinson, for example, I want to say 4 straight at bats he showed bunt on the first 2 pitches.
Yeah.
Like, he was thinking about dropping it down the third baseline. And he also hit a ball out of, got 4 hits or whatever it was. So it's going to be a versatile lineup. I heard a lot about we're not going to hit a lot of home runs, and this weekend we hit some home runs. Not a lot of home runs, but we certainly you start to see some guys that are going to have the ability to do that. I think Ashton Larson has a chance to hit 10 home runs this year. I mean, he really does put together some good plate appearances. So, I think this offense can produce runs this weekend, 34 hits, 30 runs, whatever again. That's where you start looking at who we were playing, right? Nothing against those guys, man. Nothing against them, but they weren't SEC type of arms. So if you want to talk about they scored 30 runs against right now, but again, I go back to I don't know that it would have mattered who was hitting this weekend, dude. It was that filthy.
Right. Jay, you got one?
No, yeah. So, look, once again, I'm asking these questions. I think we're all we saw 3 games and we're all really projecting out way too early. And, that just is what it is at this point of the year. But you brought up a lot of things right there with that. To me, it speaks loudly to what this offense either can and or won't be able to do moving forward. When you watch a team that didn't face Jared Jones one time last year, all they got a chance to see is video at best, right? Mm-hmm. And they still came here and said, if there's one man that we're not going to let beat us, is that man. So with that being said, to me, that screams that they're literally sitting there saying, okay, Pearson, okay, Dickinson, I don't care if you hit 500. We're gonna keep throwing at you before we ever throw to him. As you see this season progressing, at the end of the day, he's gonna end up getting his numbers or somewhere near his numbers. Is LSU gonna have to find someone with some sort of presence behind him that maybe might not hit 350, but somebody else is scared that he may leave the yard for people to start actually pitching to Jared a little bit?
And who would that be?
Oof, yes is the answer. There's going to have to be some other threat in the lineup. And, first of all, Stanfield at the top of the lineup, there's a potential threat there because if he gets on base, that just increases the pressure on the pitcher and he's going to have to throw the pitch and all the good stuff. So I think one of the things is maybe it's not necessarily somebody that can hit the ball out of the ballpark, but maybe guys that get on base a lot. Mm-hmm. So Curiel, I don't know that he's going to hit a lot of home runs this year as a freshman. He could. I don't know that he's going to hit a lot of home runs this year as a freshman, but he looks like he's going to get on base a lot, and it looks like he's got some pretty good speed. So those 2 at the top, and you've got Milam down there at 8, which again, he could bat second, right?
Yeah,
But yes, the answer is I think they're going to have someone that is, I guess the word is you use presence, and I think that's right. Maybe not hit 20 bombs, but can hit 15 and can leave on you in a hurry. So I think Jake Brown you put him in the 4-hole on.
He had a ton of homers leading into the season, in the last few games of spring.
So I think there's some guys with some potential pop. I found another interesting Hernandez, Luis Hernandez,
23.
talking to Jay before the game or before the season. If Aaron Beatty were to catch, in some cases, he would actually be one of the guys that might be the DH in that game, right? So I don't know. He hit 23 homers last year. Maybe he can run into a few. Dickinson hit, 27 or so?
In his career, I think.
In his career.
18 last year.
Right, 18 last year. Right. So, if those 2 guys, for example, can get you 12 or 13 bolts, then Jones has a chance to hit another 28, 30 home runs, right?
100%.
He's so strong, dude. I mean, he can literally hit it out from foul pole to foul pole.
Here's a question though, and this is honestly, this just hit me just now. 12 to 13 today is no longer what 12 to 13 was 10 years ago. Does 12 to 13 today still strike fear in the other pitcher's mind and or the other pitching staff's mind?
That's a great question. I mean, 12 to 15 I think that's a respectable
Well, because
number.
I think if you're hitting 12 to 15, I think you got the doubles that go with it, right? I don't think it's 12, 15 and all singles. I think it's this guy can do some damage in the gaps.
Yeah, I think 12 to 15 it gets to where you've got to start giving guys respect that they can also beat you. But yeah, it'd be what I'm getting at is it would be ideal with a pitching staff like this if Jones could have a guy in front and behind him that can hit 10, 12, 15 home runs.
Right.
Because with a pitching staff like this, a guy with 25 and 2 with 13 and some 8s and 9s stacked along the line can win a national championship.
And here's the deal. They don't this was never going to be a team that was going to hit 144 home runs like they did in 2023. Right now, it's crazy to think, and it's naive to think, it's not going to happen, that Jared Jones is going to be the only person in the lineup with double-digit homers. Right? Somebody else, maybe probably two other people are going to have double-digit homers. It's just
what did Milam hit last year?
8.
I mean,
so they're gonna be able to, whoever's gonna be. I don't know who it's gonna be, but somebody's gonna do it to where they step up. They have a couple more homers. But I think what's an interesting conversation, and you got something to say over there?
I'm trying to find the 10. Like
okay.
Brown, Larson.
I think
Milam,
Brown, I think Larson, I think
Dickinson.
Milam can do it. Dickinson can do it. Luis Hernandez can do it.
Yeah. Hey, Luis Hernandez swiped 2 bags.
No, he didn't.
Well, I know, but I'm saying
No,
running
he
like
didn't.
that because I did want to ask
Dirt ball
you.
read, great dirt ball reads.
The catcher.
Yeah.
But I did want to ask you that. Do you feel like there was like an impetus put on, like making the team look a little bit differently on Friday? Like when you went, like we're gonna play differently than what you saw last year. Because I feel like they were being super aggressive
on the base pass.
Yes.
I did notice they've been working on it a lot, but getting that read, they did a lot.
They weren't going to get thrown out either.
They went
first to home
twice.
Jesus. Yeah.
Pearson twice, right, or somebody twice. I think. But there's a lot more speed. The word on the street was they're going to hit the ball in the gaps more and lay the bunts down and move the runners more, and that can win, dude. Really, any offense that can execute whatever they do well and put 5-6 runs on the board 100%. With what I saw this weekend, can win games.
100%.
Like my point is, we love the homer here, and we're just it's a program built on homers and gorilla ball, and we love the 10-run rule because it makes us, we don't have to worry during the game. We can just sing "Calling Baton Rouge" and be happy about it, and not nervous. But I think this year you're going to see a lot of 7-2s and 6-1s.
That's okay.
It's a win, right?
Yeah.
And when we face their guy, the other team's guys can be 2-1 or 3-1 and nail biters, and that's what it's all about,
By the way, too, I'm saying that. I'm not sitting here saying that this team will be anywhere near what 2023 did in terms of homers. But when you do have a Jared Jones, you're going to need somebody else is going to have that presence to where you just feel like it's probably not the smartest because if we put him on, this guy may leave too. You don't have to have 4 of them. You just need to have at least 1 more of them, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right. You're right.
I think they wanted to get away from it last year, from what.
Well, that was their offense. Like every year, your offense
you can
is
see
different.
the adjustment.
Yeah,
of
right.
getting away from Bear Jones, Tommy White. If they don't leave, we're not scoring.
If they don't hit a homer, we're not scoring a ton of runs. Obviously, they don't. I don't think Jay really loved that. I think Jay wants what they have now, and he said it a million times. I like hitters and develop the power later. I don't want the power to develop and then have to develop into hitters later, which is a lot harder to do. But the question is, that me and Jared were talking about, the outfield is deeper this year than it was probably since Jay has gotten here.
It's been a while.
There's like 5 or 6 guys that he probably feels comfortable, probably 5 for sure, that he feels comfortable putting in the outfield in the lineup any given day. We assumed on the show Larson was going to get opening day start. Did not. Put the freshman Curiel in there, had Pearson in there, and both of those guys, obviously Pearson has professional bat after professional bat. He's not going to really scare you with, this guy's going to leave the yard. He can.
He can.
But he's not going to be like, we're not worried about it. right? You have Curiel, who came in super talented, highly touted, had a good weekend, right? Jake Brown feels like he's entrenched in that spot. He looks really good at the plate. And then Stanfield is your best defender in center field, pure leadoff guy, right? I guess my question is, how do you navigate that? Because once Larson got in, 4 for 6, homers, 7 RBIs, looked really good. Hit a lot. I think he had another hard out.
That's how.
Right? So
That's
like
how you navigate.
No
it.
doubt.
You get these guys, and actually Skip touched on it. When Larson hit the double down the line, it didn't really mean much. At that point in the weekend, Sunday, it was over. But he said it's so big for him, the kid, because Jay's got 20 kids in that dugout that can get it done. I mean, Tanner Reeves. Yeah. Tanner Reeves was like an All-American in junior college. Like
hit 400.
Hit 400, 398 in his career there. I want to say he hit 20 bombs or something.
Yeah.
Like this kid can really go, and they really like him. But that's it. That's how he's going to make these decisions, and it's going to be like professional baseball. Like you got to get your knocks when you get your shots.
So the question Jay had for me was, do you think that he's going to say, Larson's going to go in, or do you think he's going to give the nod to the senior in Pearson for at-bats? Or is it purely performance-based?
No, I think it's going to be performance-based. I think that in the DH role, I think they actually like Pearson a little bit more against lefties, or he actually hits lefties a little better than the others. But, look, Pearson's going to get his at-bats. Right. I mean, that kid's got the innings under the belt, the moments in Omaha. That all matters. And Pearson's going to get plenty at-bats this year and plenty of opportunity. And there's going to be one of them in the outfield, and one of them's going to be, in the DH spot. So
this is assuming they all stay, God forbid, all stay healthy. And,
which isn't going to happen, right? I mean, it never happens, right? I mean, so you're going to have some injuries that you have to get through. But I think so far, it looks like they've got some pretty decent depth there to cover anything that might be, needed at some point in the future. Catching as well. Like I like Aaron Beatty. Aaron Beatty looks tough. Again, there's no indication that he's a freshman. Like he looks like he's ready to go, and that doesn't always happen. I mean,
I was saying I kind of want to touch on this too, man, because I think something like this for a kid to come in and do something like this in their first at bat in the stadium, and I don't know if there's even 50 at bats for him to have this year. But if something were to happen, please don't overlook the younger Pearson. For him to come in that first at bat and shoot a double down the right field line late, I'm telling you, that is such an advanced approach right there. And for me to see a young kid come in a situation where he's on cloud nine, man. Like he's watched his big brother play here. He's always looked up to this school, and to be able to slow the game down like that in his first opportunity in that stadium. I don't know where the at-bats will come. Like, I really don't. And I don't think like I said, he may not even get 50 at-bats this year. Who knows? But if he does, I wouldn't be surprised if he made some noise.
Hey, my first at-bat, you could have cut the field into fourth. I had one spot.
Only had one chance.
It was going left field or foul line. That was it. I didn't even know where the I was just said, let it eat.
By the way, that pitch was like inner third, too. Yeah. Son of a hitting coach. Dude, that could be the guy. I mean, that could be a kid's got some serious juice. He is a big dude.
Doesn't look like the younger brother of
tackle John Peterson. Don't want any part of that. So, man, Jared, I'm really hopeful that he gets some shots like to be the DH. Now, I didn't see anything over the fall. Nothing, right? So I really have no idea what I'm talking. He might not have hit one home run. But I know I actually hit with him one day in Omaha. Well, his dad took my son to hit, and I watched him hit, and he's that guy that when he hits in the cage, everything shakes. Yeah, everything. The whole building moves. The netting is moving, and he's just a big, strong kid who's a pure hitter. And I really hope to see him. He's wearing 47. He looks just like Tommy White. It's unbelievable. But man, that's a kid that could certainly hit some dingers, if not this year, almost certainly in the future.
Flipping back to the pitching staff, right? Like a lot of guys threw. A couple of guys of note did not throw, right? Connor Ware, who we've heard almost every time Jay went and spoke to the media, he mentioned Connor Ware. This guy is going to fill into the
closer, maybe.
Yeah, the Griffin Herring role, the closer. This guy is elite. He didn't have to throw him out there, right? Which makes me feel like he is the closer. Are going to be at the back end of meaningful games, right? Because he had all these other guys. Zach Cowan didn't throw, which makes me feel like he's a midweek starter and he's going to be that guy to kind of eat up some innings in the middle of the week. You had Gavin Guidry didn't start. Feel like he's going to kind of do similar stuff in the middle of the week. How do you feel like you can't navigate, I guess, the whole season pitching 20 guys? Can you?
Why not?
Well,
especially when, honestly, and this is another question, when was the last time, and you may know this answer, when was the last time LSU has had all 3 starters on the weekend go 5 innings and get the win? Because all 3 had got the win.
Probably last year.
I don't know if they had it last year.
You had Holman.
No Sunday guy.
Did we never have a Sunday guy?
I mean, they were Johnny Holstaff for a minute.
Yeah, they were. Man,
your Friday night
the
guy
number.
was not your Friday
What
night
I
guy
heard
at the
was
end of
like we've got 9 guys. You know, there's this Coach Burtman talking. There's 9 guys that can get outs in the SEC, which is a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you've got 9 guys that are go out there and shut innings down in that league.
Yep.
That's an abundance of riches. I think like your national championship caliber with like 5 or 6 guys.
What does Skip say? 2.5 starters and then just 3 or 4 guys in the bullpen maybe.
To be able to stop the bleeding, right?
Yeah.
But then you got a guy like Grant Fontenot.
That's the other guy.
He wasn't even like, part of the discussion until like the very end of the fall where he's pumping 96, 97 in bullpens. He comes out of nowhere. He was as nasty as anyone else. So
Binge transfer from Dallas Baptist. I thought he was a low 90s guy. He was throwing mid to upper 90s too.
Mid to upper 90s. What about Newt? At the very end, Newt comes in and hits 96.
I wish we would have added you to this. He would have been a great addition to the team.
the draft?
I'll tell you what we did. It's a show thing. All 3 of us. Lloyd claimed credit for this, which. Then he came back later and said that his friend put up the whole spreadsheet and had the idea, and then Lloyd just executed the idea on air.
I thought it was very evident that I wouldn't do something like this.
And so, anyway, so we drafted a fantasy baseball team of LSU players, right? You have allotments of, like, home runs, RBIs. Whoever's leading it gets 3 points, second.
Okay.
And it's
God,
only
I
the
wish I
guys,
would've done that.
only the guys that we drafted, right?
Yeah,
so it's
good
not
ideas.
like, oh, if this guy's second on the team, it's second on the people drafted, okay? And so we drafted that. We had 2 pitchers. We had, I think, 3 hitters and 3 pitchers total. I wish we would have added you into it because I drafted Newt because I was like, this guy coming in is supposed to be really good. And every time you saw him throw, he was good, but he never really threw a lot because he's been hurt.
Through 1 inning.
Through 96. And I think that he can maybe force his way into maybe a midweek starter role or back into the bullpen type guy.
Listen, dude, 96 miles an hour plays.
Yes,
I mean,
it does.
plays. Like, unless you just can't hit the broadside of a barn, like 96 miles an hour in college, I mean, in every level of baseball, it plays. So, again, dude, it's really overwhelming. It's got to be overwhelming for an offense. And I'm excited to watch the rest of the year because I'm a pitcher and there's going to be a lot of just 17, 18, 19 strikeout games because it's kind of like the big leagues. Like nowadays, the starter comes out and he was good, 95 to 97.
You don't want the starter
next
to
guy's
get
like
out.
97 and 98,
Right.
and the next guy's like 99 to 103 with sync. I mean, that's kind of like what we're talking about here. You know, it doesn't get easier.
No.
Going to the bullpen.
No, look at you, Lloyd, with changing the cameras.
Yeah, you like that?
Yeah,
You like what he's doing right there?
I got exhausted.
That's why he's been so
working too
quiet
hard
too, by
going
the
back
way.
and forth.
He's good. But tell you, this guy's good at what
That's
he
good.
does.
I know,
man.
it's unbelievable.
He's so good at what
We
he
literally could not do this without him.
No.
And they hate to admit it.
So I got a question. Because I don't know why. Maybe it kind of excites me to think that this is a thing when honestly at the end of the day it really don't mean shit. But like it kind of excites me to see that this is a possibility. But like I think about last year and I go back to thinking like the staff that Arkansas had. If he was available at the end of a game, you knew it was the freshman that was coming out with the big breaking ball. This pitching staff for LSU is so deep. Do you think that it's going, and I'm not saying that we found that guy already, but do you think that it's going to like shape up to where roles are like clearly defined and we're not basically trying to, hey, find us that swing guy that can get us 4 innings on a Saturday or Sunday, and we got a Sunday starter, and we got a setup guy, and we got a closer. Like, do you think it's going to set up like that, or is it kind of going to be, well, who's ready, who's available, and roll it out there like that?
I think there will be guys they bring in late innings that are close games versus the closer. I think guys, like Schmidt, I know that, they're going to try to get him to 2-3 innings to be that guy that if the starter comes out, it's 1-1 in the 6th and they're at Auburn, let's go to Schmidt for the next 3 or 4. Maybe it's the 8th inning and it's 1-1 or the 9th inning. So eventually, yes, I think that you'll start to see some roles identified. But honestly, man, it's really like they could all be a dice, and you could just kind of throw it out there. And who did you pick? And from what I saw this weekend, I don't know that it really matters too much on who's out there, man, because they fill that strike zone up. They're constantly on top of those hitters. They get ahead, and it is nasty stuff. And Jamie Tutko, listen, man, this guy is really starting to understand this stuff to a different level.
Oh, no.
And, I mean, when I played, it was like, no, work on your fastball and your break ball and try to develop a changeup. Dude, these guys are able to use this information to, come up with a pitch today. And oh, my goodness, look how filthy this thing. Can you do that again? Yeah, that's easy. And now this kid has a gyro ball, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's all this different stuff. And that coupled with these arms, it's really intimidating. I mean, it really truthfully is intimidating. So I can't imagine that there's another SEC school that has that many big arms. It would just be so hard to believe.
And look, it's the first.
I want to say this too.
Okay. Go ahead,
Mikey.
It's the first.
No, I was just going to say,
I got something to say too.
No, you got it, Jay. You got it. You got it.
Go ahead, Jay.
I wanted to make sure we got this out before the subject got changed, but speaking as a hitter, and Mikey, you could literally second to this as well. Dude, it really doesn't matter if a guy is up there and he's 89 to 92 or if he's 99 to 102. There is a completely different feel as a hitter, and obviously we can tell you this now because we no longer play, so it's very easy for me to tell you this now, where I would have never admitted this as a player because you don't want to give that up. But it's a completely different feel when you get in the box and you feel like someone is attacking you, as opposed to you feel like he's trying to be super fine and he's trying to nibble around the zone and he don't really want to come in the zone and he's trying to make you chase and he wants to show you this. It's a different feel when you're like, hey, bro, I stepped in the box, looked up, and it was 0-2 because he just keeps pounding the zone. That's a different feel as a hitter. And I feel like, I won't say I feel like, it's pretty obvious. When you go through a whole series and all you got is 2 walks as a team, that's very evident what your idea of pitching was that weekend.
No doubt.
Bro, that is it. When you're walking back as a hitter and your boy says, what's he got? And you just damn, bro. You just feel like you got taken advantage of.
Just get ready.
That's what you're dealing with.
Yeah.
They are on the mound, they're ready to pitch, and they are coming, and they're not trying to set you up, they're not trying to trick you. They're going to come at you, they're going to throw strikes, and a lot of times you're not going to be able to hit it because of the stuff that they're throwing in there. So, again, man, I can't believe not one kid had the jitters and walked the first 2 guys that he it was unbelievable. How well they dominated that strike zone. And you nailed it, Jay. That is exactly how it would feel. It had to feel to those kids in that other dugout. And I'd imagine many dugouts throughout the course of the season are going to feel that way.
And look, it's 3 games into the year, right? A long season. If you're listening to this and you're not LSU fan, you're like, come on, guys. Just y'all played Purdue, Fort Wayne.
Relax.
Yeah,
right.
I get all that, right? Look, there's going to be a time this season where they're facing Tennessee or Arkansas or A&M, and these guys are going toe-to-toe with the pitchers. Hey, you're coming at us. We're coming at you. We're battling or fouling things off. All right, maybe you walked a couple guys and you got to pitch out the stretch and you got some things that you haven't really had to deal with. It's inevitable that there's going to be a time where they're going to have to pitch themselves out of damage. They're going to pitch themselves into trouble and out of trouble. That's when you see, okay,
or come into a high leverage situation.
Yeah,
they didn't have that.
Yeah, how are they going to react? And once you see how they react and they respond to that, then you're like, okay, that's kind of the next level. This is good and everything. All right, now let's graduate to the next side. What happens when this occurs? Do they pass that test and you go forward after that? And then once you get to the end of the year, you got no freshmen anymore. You're all just
Right.
So that's
There.
the unknown.
Yeah,
right.
right.
That's
I'm
the
with you on
unknown.
that.
Who can do it when it's second and third? One out.
Right.
We got a 1-run lead, and it's
Yeah.
the top of the ninth inning.
Right.
Like, who can come in and put that fire out? I think to answer Jared's question, yes, I think we'll get to where it's clear who does what. But I think we're going to see some trial by fire. I think we're going to
100%.
see some kids get that starting or the closing role or the setup role, and if they perform well, I mean, how can you not do it again, right? So
Right.
the one thing we don't know is can they pitch under pressure, right? I mean, we did see Shores deal with that a little bit, I guess, on Sunday. I mean, it was 1-0
Right.
for what, three or four innings.
Yeah.
So I mean, there was a little bit of that,
Right.
but you kind of always knew that the game was just it was inevitable, right?
That's the thing, though. Like early in the season, and I think people probably, like you said, are listening to this and being like, "Hey, y'all got to tone it down. It's one weekend. They played Purdue, Fort Wayne. Like, what are y'all talking about?" I personally think I'm under the impression after watching and playing as much baseball as I have, that if there's anything that you can truly take from the first week of college baseball, especially for a team like LSU, is it's not so much the hitting. Unless it's literally you see guys that are up there battling in terms of like not striking out and in terms of just being really, really tough outs. That's one thing. The other thing that you could probably look at to me is stuff is great, but to be able to have control and command and do what they did with the stuff, that's the stuff that makes you go, oh shit, this might be a little different right here.
Exactly.
That's the stuff that makes you do that.
Yeah.
Exactly. We have the stats from this weekend offensively. How many times did we strike out? Not many. I know that.
Well, that's a good question.
I would bet we walked more than we struck out. I'm not sure, but I'm almost.
You're putting. I don't think we have that.
I can find it.
Yeah,
But Lloyd can.
go to the stats.
LSU hit. I know they. I mean,
only
I
3
could give
games.
you not the details, the stats. LSU hit 340 on the weekend, right? 7 doubles, 1 triple, 4 homers, 32 runs scored, 5 bags, 488 on base percentage, walked 23 times, and were hit by a pitch on 7 occasions. Do not say how many times they struck out, which I can't
I'm
imagine
betting
it being
under
a ton,
10. I think it's under 10.
which is crazy.
The season statistics aren't on the LSU Sports website.
There, I'm pulling them up right now.
Lloyd, I mean,
Jesus Christ,
What do you
Doug.
have, slow internet speed?
We'll get there. Can't even get into the, I can't even get in the radio booth, but I'll get there. Here, asshole.
They don't want you in the radio booth.
No. What do you got there?
It's just the stats.
How many punchies?
Let's go. I mean, I can only give you the information.
Well, no, look. So go to the strikeouts because there's only been 3 games, so it'll show you how many
Yeah,
strikeouts.
Yeah,
exactly. I
strikeouts.
think I see
Ashton Larson
10.
has 1.
No. Go all the way to the
All the way
bottom
down.
where it says total.
Hold on. There's 2 different things I'm doing here. I was going to do the math myself, but let's reload the page.
Well, they do it for you.
It's
I'm not a strikeout guy. Look, I struck out twice in my entire career.
Hey.
So that's not a stat I was concerned with.
okay. But Mikey was right. They added up at the bottom. It's kind of like a spreadsheet, but there's no lines.
Oh,
There's
you want to
just-
see a spreadsheet?
No
No.
spreadsheet.
It's a spreadsheet just with no lines. Just
So
check it out.
Jay's coming on the show at 7:15.
Is he? What time?
So no, you're good. You're
Stay.
good. I would love for you to stay if you ask questions if you want, unless you got to go home to your family.
Man,
Screw
I'll
my
let you
family.
guys.
No, I'm just
I'll
joking.
let you guys. I asked Jay plenty of questions. I don't want to
13.
I mean, it's fine.
13 strikeouts.
13 strikeouts. And how many walks? 20?
Oh,
I can tell you that. I have that.
So, what I'm saying is more walks
23.
and strikeouts.
30
is
times
always
they
good.
got on base by either walk or getting hit.
There you go.
That's pretty good.
13 strikeouts. I mean,
Yeah.
usually it's the other way around.
Yeah, pretty good. I mean, it's for an opening weekend with the type of competition they're facing. It was as good as you wanted it to be. You did what you needed to do. You dominated a team that you should have dominated. You executed almost flawlessly. You had freshman guys got to get at bats that were freshmen that either started or came off the bench. Felt like everybody had at least one opportunity to get a plate appearance, get an at bat, get an inning. That's what you want first weekend of the season.
So let me ask you two guys, position players. You got Braswell returning as a senior, 4-year starter now in the SEC.
Crazy.
I think 98% of those starts are at shortstop. So, and then Milam, right, who's obviously athletic, got all the range and all the tools, whatever. That's a big call. That's a big call that Jay made to go with Milam. But honestly, it suited my eye better.
100%.
I would like to see Milam at third for a game or two just to see what that's all about because I didn't see much of the fall, but it certainly didn't. I was wondering, like, man, you're taking a guy with 200 starts under his belt and moving him over to third base. It's kind of like the A-Rod Jeter type deal. You know what I mean?
100%.
And I think it looks
for
pretty
me.
good.
It looks good, and everybody's worried about arm. I think he's got plenty enough arm.
Who, Milam?
Milam. I'm not worried about the arm.
I saw David Eckstein,
Yeah.
in the Hall of Famer, got through like 50 across the
Yeah,
diamond.
I think what he does so well, and I think what Jay's mentioned it, right? And I'm not comparing them as far as like shortstop talents, because to my mind, there's not a better shortstop that I played with, other than Jose Iglesias.
I'm going to say the Latino guys like
than Osinola.
He's as close to a Latino guy that you would see. Like
Right.
Milam's hands are quick,
Right.
and he gets rid of
But
it.
when I play with Austin, same thing. But what Austin did really good was he came through the ball and he challenged the ball, and you never really felt like he had to let it eat. Now he had it when he needed it, but he came through it, and I think that's what Milam does so well at short. And Jay's talking about he comes through the ball, gets the ball really, really well, which you don't really need if you're able to do that and you got good enough hands to do that, you don't need a super strong arm as long as you just throw it to the guy's chest at first.
There was a chopper at some point at one of the games, and he had to come in pretty hard on it, and he made it look
Easy.
way easier than it really was,
Right.
and it was down there, and his hand was already down on it low. I mean, it's butter. It really is, and
When you
I
see
was
it, you
just
know
kinda
it,
curious about it.
and he's got it.
And we talked to Milazzo last week, right, on the show, and he was like, he goes, I love Brazzi. He's awesome. I think he's a great shortstop. He has a great arm.
Yeah.
He was like, I think he's going to be really good at third because now he can worry about he can field it, but he don't have to worry about going left to right as much, and he can just let it eat. And he goes, I think that suits him well. Jay, what do you think?
Yeah, I think so. There's the athleticism of Milam to be able to move him to shortstop, and obviously the arm is everything that you need to play there. So like that's not a problem. And then I guess my biggest concern was mentally, like where was Braswell going to be moving to third? If he's everything that I thought he was in terms of being a team guy and just wanting to find a way to win and wanting to make the team better, and he was willing to go to third or at least give it a try. That to me was like the biggest hurdle you had to make, and now to be able to put both of them on that side of the field, yeah, I think it's going to work, and I think it's going to work really well because, like you said, you got someone that's a little more athletic, has a little more ability to move left and right at short, and we all know that the hands and the absolute hand cannon that Braswell has from third will play. So now it's like, all right, how can they get the synergy going? But yeah, I'm fine with it. I just wanted to see like. I needed to be able to see game time comes. Where was Braswell's like mentality and how he moved and how he played and how he went about his business? And it seems to me everything's fine there.
Talking to the guys, some of the staff, he couldn't handle it better. Like literally the answers that you would want, whatever we need to win. Both of the guys, there was somewhat of a competition throughout most of the fall. Both of them's disposition was it doesn't matter. I want to play. And if you really look back at all the championship teams, something like that usually happens where some guys got to say, I don't care. I want to win. Like
Mayhew.
Selflessness, right? Like there has to be that in order to win a championship.
Yeah.
And again. It's early, and we all need to calm down and relax. But
it was fun.
We can't really talk about offense yet.
Right.
That's how I feel.
I think
but
week
pitching,
3 when they go to Texas, like when they go to the tournament in Texas,
yeah, I think we'll get a good feed.
A little
there,
ramp up. Yeah.
But pitching wise, I don't know that it matters.
Yeah.
I think we can start to be excited about what we saw because that plays against any team, anywhere. People are going to struggle to.
No doubt. But that's been Arkansas's Achilles heel. Great arm, great staff. Nobody scores any runs. But they also don't score runs. And so there's been times when they got deep into the postseason where, hey, our guys giving up 2 runs and we can't score 1. And, I don't think LSU is going to be that way. I'm just saying, like, to your point, you don't need to score 12 or 10. 5 to 7 runs is going to be plenty.
I think so, man. And I could see this team, like, again, that versatility throughout the lineup. There's some speed. And I think there's more speed than there has been in a long time. In fact, that'd be great to figure out, like, what's the most recent lineup that had as much speed as this lineup does?
No, I think it was. I think it was out after us. I mean, for sure after us. Like,
Thinking about the one with Kramer and
Yeah,
Cole
and
Freeman.
Cole
They were
Freeman
pretty
and
quick.
Antoine and
They had Laird, right?
Laird. I don't know if Antoine was on the team actually. Laird.
They had some-
Stevenson. Was Stevenson on the team?
In that 19, it was 19?
17.
17,
That's when they went to Omaha.
right. Who was the center fielder?
They had 3 center fielders, I think, on that team. Laird, Stevenson, Foster was No, Foster was way gone. Foster was way gone.
What do you mean?
He was on maybe coaching. Maybe he's a graduate assistant.
I think he actually might have been.
First base.
Might have been.
Yeah.
No, but this team, you know, with you know, you got Stanfield that can move. You know, by the way, can we clear this up? Are we going to go as media? Okay, because I did this.
You're putting us in the media.
I went, of course, I went both ways all weekend because the pronunciation guide. It's the pronunciation of Curiel is capital CURR -IEL. So it sounds like cur, not cure.
Curiel. I call him Curiel.
Curiel, not Curiel.
Have you heard? Have you? This, no,
I think I do that.
I'm aware of it. So I'm like, is it Curiel?
I say
Curiel.
I say Curiel, not Curiel. I say Curiel, but Lloyd has a trick. Obviously, go on YouTube or something, and type in like an interview that happened with him on baseball, whatever it was, Baseball America, whoever does it, not Perfect Game.
You found the real
and
nerds.
how do they pronounce it?
But how you know that guy didn't screw up?
You're right.
Because you have to try.
Maybe there's a Perfect Game thing where he's announcing his name. This is Derek Curiel.
You got to double and triple check it, man. You got to check like 3 different interviews.
Here's the best way.
Well, we ask him.
Yeah.
I think
you guys need to get him on the show.
We do need to get him on the show
and say, look, man, there's some debate. Is it Curiel or Curiel? But I will tell you, in terms of a kid you want to pull for, I don't know if you guys, the magic moment, Jake, you know, he gives the lineup to the kid, I guess the magic moment of the game. Right. And, of course, when Curiel hit his home run, Jay gave it to him. Did you guys see what he said? Mm-mm. So when he got the kids, yeah, attaboy, you know, whatever, and he says, hey, guys, sorry if I cursed. I kind of blacked out there for a minute.
Sorry if I cursed.
Sorry if I cursed. So apparently, you know, this is a very solid kid that we're talking about. And those type of kids that are that grounded and that focused on the things that really matter, like the freshman thing.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't really rattle kids like that. Yeah. So I found that interesting. My son also told me that he comes up to bat to, I guess Kanye's got new Christian music or some gospel music.
No, Curiel does not. No. You know why? Because he walks out to my old walkout song in Tampa, and
what is it? What was that?
Double Bubble Trouble by MIA.
It sounded like a gospel song.
Oh, you're in trouble.
No.
That's Curiel.
No.
Wasn't it?
Yeah, that's what we look. I mean, I can look up another
Double
thing
Bubble Trouble. I heard it on the thing.
I must have been hearing things then.
I don't think Kanye's in the business of making.
No, my son said that. I was like, wait, who?
Maybe somebody else. But Curiel walks out to Double Bubble Trouble by MIA, which is why I want to get him on the show because I want to talk to him because nobody else has ever said that song.
I've got to listen again because I could have sworn like one of those days it sounded very gospel-y.
Okay.
But anyway, good kid.
Apparently
a great kid. The kid that you want your son to wait an hour in line for the autograph. You know, it's easy to pull for kids like that. Yeah. And him, Aaron Beatty, and who's the other freshman? Rizzo and
Rizzy.
And Rizzy.
I love Rizzo on the team. Would be great.
Rizzy in 2023.
Rizzy and of course William Schmidt. They don't look like freshmen.
And Case and Evans. We keep forgetting about
Case and Evans. Well, because he pitched so early and he blew us all away. Like, right. What is this?
This guy's throwing 98.
It was. In fact, he might have been like top 3.
Right, impressive moments of the weekend.
Right.
Okay, we have some.
Yeah, because you did it. He wasn't the name we expected to come out the pin first, and he came out the pin, and you're like, whoa, what is this?
Exactly. Kind of got us prepared for the rest of the weekend. Yeah. Like, wow.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, even the other kids that we're not really talking a whole lot about that may or may not get time this year. Like, everybody looked really good, but some of them looked good no matter what.
Yeah.
Really, really super good.
Yeah. What'd you say, Lloyd? You said you got the clear up on the Curiel or Curiel?
Yes. No, not that. I don't. We'll figure that out later. As long as he's good, it doesn't matter. It is Aaron Beatty that has Double Bubble Trouble. And it is Curiel that is Kanye West God Is. I don't know what.
Look.
I mean,
you're right.
I was there. I was only
Aaron
there
Beatty has
15 hours this weekend. So
yeah, you're right. Aaron Beatty has.
No, but so what's the name of the song? Kanye.
God Is by Kanye, who's in a,
He
I don't know
and
if that's
now
that's a different era.
New Kanye
No,
is like opposite. I feel like of what he's talking about.
I thought Kanye now was just a dash, and he didn't have a name or anything. He's just
Just
Yee.
yay.
yeah,
Yee.
just Yee. So he
Yay.
is a God. He is in the gospel now, Kanye.
This was in 2019 when it came out.
Oh, okay. See,
Now
my
he's in a
son
different
doesn't- my
era
kid
of
doesn't know
like
what he's talking
big
about.
into
No,
West
he does.
Germany.
I mean, God is the name of the song.
It
And
is.
Kanye.
It sounds like you're in church when
Yeah.
it comes up. It is very.
Kanye
gospel.
Kanye did have an album that was gospel-y.
for a minute. That
Yeah,
like
he
did
went
have.
the
He had a
whole-
full album that was
They did the whole
gospel-y.
production thing. Now he's like I said, he's big
Kanye's
into Blitzkrieg.
oof, guys all over the place.
Jesus
huh?
Christ,
Yeah,
Lloyd.
but John, it's not me. He does it.
Yeah, he's a
Somebody mute Lloyd,
Different guy.
please. Good.
I'm in charge of it.
look. I would love to have you on all day. I'm not gonna keep you on all night.
No,
I
I'm
know
gonna
Jay's
let you guys
coming
go
in.
talk to Jay, man.
Yeah,
but
listen.
I'm down anytime.
I'll-
Certainly.
I
After
like
the
to make this a
weekends.
regular
Yeah.
thing. Seriously, can we commit? Can I
See,
put you on the pressure on air so
No,
that you commit
because
to
I
it?
was gonna. He's taking my idea because I was gonna have you on for the morning show, and
Oh.
now he's trying to like. Oh, that's a
Whoa,
good
whoa,
idea.
Tom, first of all, I told him this on the way here, so now he's sneaking
No, I
my
already
idea.
know. I already
Whoa.
talked. I already said it on air this morning.
Me and Doug have talked about it since the fall.
Yeah, we just need to find a restaurant
A restaurant to
that we can
sponsor.
sit here and talk about. I'm good at
I thought
talking
it
about
was
food
the
too.
Me too. We love
15
food.
minutes.
Well, and the firefighter. That's a given.
Yeah, we're gonna
Which-
do that too.
Which is this?
Louisiana Firefighters
Louisiana
Foundation.
Firefighters
Can't wait to
Foundation.
talk more about that.
Can't wait.
Tell you more about that. It's gonna be great.
I'm a donor.
Newest release. I'm gonna hit you up for sure. For sure.
I just
You
need the
too,
help.
Jay
He
Mitch.
doesn't.
You too, Jay Mitch.
Yeah.
I got one coming for
Yeah.
you. And I appreciate you guys having me. And man, this is fun.
Yeah,
like
I
talking
would. I
baseball.
would love to do Fridays. Fridays is probably hard because Jay always moves the games up and down, and we don't know. We have to do 1 to 2, and it may be in a bad spot. But Mondays are awesome. If you're good on Mondays, I'm good on Mondays.
I think Monday review. Monday's the best day for me in terms
Perfect.
of my kids and all that kind of stuff.
I'm thinking just while the games are in the afternoon of Friday, from you in the box in the press box would be elite video.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that would mean he needs to get there way earlier than he probably normally.
Well, we
would
could
do.
go on the way there. You know,
Yeah.
just do it.
It
in the
is
car.
here.
Yeah, we've
Yeah.
tried that before.
Now
we're
I'm ready.
good Now?
Yeah,
We're
I think
ready.
Monday may be the move. We'll figure it out.
Okay,
But
but we're ready to video and remote now.
oh yeah, we got to figure it out.
Okay,
Yeah,
gotcha.
thank God.
Great.
Yeah.
Somebody-
Anytime, guys.
yeah,
I
we didn't
appreciate
pay
y'all
for
y'all
the
having
entire
me.
Zoom package. It was the free trial.
Yeah.
That was a struggle.
Yeah, I can't get off my wallet a little bit. You know,
Yeah.
that's what I need to do.
All right,
Appreciate
boys.
you, dude.
Yep,
You're the
no
best.
problem. Thank
Yep.
y'all, man.
Enjoy your Monday.
Hey, Dougie.
Dougie, you're the man, dude. Thank you. That was a perfect little.
Yes, sir.
You can shut that too when you're done. Thank you. Perfect little segue into the Jay Johnson conversation. And Lloyd, did you send him the email link?
I did. send
Okay,
it
I was just
to
making
Malik.
sure.
I'm currently searching to see if he was in here or not.
I mean, sometimes he gets there early. Really good insight from obviously Doug, who watched the game, called the game for the last 3 games. On par with what Jay and I and Lloyd were talking about before he got in here, which doesn't really shock us. We're usually kind of all aligned in those same thoughts. You know, and look, Jay's probably not going to come on here and give us really anything super crazy, which I don't expect him to do. It's the 3rd game of the season. He's still trying to figure stuff out as we go. But there's a lot of things that I'm sure he saw this weekend that he was excited about, that he's looking forward to seeing how they continue to develop. And, you know, when you have things like that, there's always going to be new questions that come up. Because now, hey, how's the outfield rotation going to work, right? How are you going to, you know, is Larson forcing his way back into the starting rotation? What happens with Pearson? Because you want him in the lineup. You only have so many at-bats to give out. Those are some of the questions that we were going to ask to Jay. Like we always do in interviews.
Like we always do at this time. Kanye,
staying on the Kanye train. Like we always do during interviews, if you have a question that you want Jay to answer, throw it in the chat. Lloyd will vet him. If there's a good one, he'll throw it out there and make it his question and not give you any credit, which is okay. But at least you get to hear that he asked the question. Because sometimes when we say it comes from the chat, Jay gets a little hesitant, you know, because...
Well, I'd rather it be their fault than mine.
Right,
I don't
that's
want
true.
to think I have bad takes.
That's a good point.
I try to live, you know, one day at a time with this relationship. I don't want to ruin it just yet.
That's the way...
It's inevitable.
Yeah, well, you know, it's not inevitable. We can't go there. I think you've broken down the barrier.
Maybe so.
Now there's I'm sure certain things that...
Right.
Yeah. Actually, I want to talk to both of y'all about this before he gets on. Just a little break in the baseball conversation. Did y'all watch the USA Canada hockey game? Did y'all see like the whole thing that happened? No? Jay, did you?
I saw what happened. I did not watch the game.
I didn't
but
watch
did
the
see
game,
clip.
like, obviously, play, like, you know,
Hockey?
the whole time. Dude,
Is it a match?
it is a, like, it's like a tournament. It's like, I guess, I don't know what it's called. But Canada and United States were playing, right? And the game was in Montreal, and they played, you know, when you do that, you play both countries' national anthems. And Canada, when they played the American national anthem, the Canadian fans booed it the entire time. Like, loud boo in front of the Americans, right? 3 fights in the first 9 seconds.
Oh, wow. They just dropped gloves?
Just dropped gloves, right? Twins, like, got in the fight. Then the other one got in the fight. They're both in the penalty box. Then they get it.
That's just Mighty Duck stuff.
Oh, dude, it's awesome.
Bash
and
Brothers.
then the United States wins 3-1, right? Huge emotional win. They play again on Thursday. I would love to see what the numbers were for that game and what the numbers are going to be for the Thursday game, because it's going to be it was electric. I mean, the highlights were crazy. The fights were crazy. And then when I went back and I saw, like, the booing of the national anthem, I was like, yeah, fuck that. Go get them. You know, like, kind of fired me up.
I mean,
I'm definitely watching Thursday's match. Thursday's game.
If you want a little treat, go watch the team in the locker room after the game.
Oh, I didn't see that. Is it awesome?
Sounds like a potential curtain call.
Yeah, I think that should be. Yeah. Now they're playing Sweden tonight, and they play Canada on Thursday. But that Thursday game, the Thursday game is going to be.
I mean, I don't know if there's an anthem that's softer than the Canadian anthem. If we're talking,
You know what's crazy is, like, I heard it so much in the baseball world that, like, I could, like, recite it.
Oh,
when
Canada?
Yeah.
Goal.
I can't do it now without the music.
No.
You know what I mean? I gotta, you know. But yeah, it's pretty mellow. Pretty mellow.
Why would Canada boo the anthem?
Because of all the tariffs.
Oh yeah,
Because,
I
like,
forgot
you know,
we're in an egg war.
Man said the egg war.
Yeah, Trump pissed them off, and so they're trying to boo us, and then it backfired, and we just beat the shit out of them and won 3-1. And now Twitter's like, we tariffed you, and we stole your support. We stole hockey from you.
Yeah, we're taking the Gulf of America back too. So play Mexico in hockey, and then we'll take that.
Right. Well, I don't think Mexico
It's
has
just
a
one
hockey
big.
team.
It's just
Can't imagine Mexico
takeover.
having a good hockey team. But
Why?
there's not a lot of ice. Not a lot of ice over there. You know?
I didn't know.
Yeah, not a lot of ice south of the border.
Global warming. That's your next take.
Yeah, I think that's what. Yeah,
Too close to the
equator.
equator. I was gonna say Mendoza line.
Yeah, well, that's. You don't want to be
200.
there. You don't want to be
Wouldn't be
either
there
spot.
either.
You don't want to be close to the equator or the Mendoza line. I've been at one of the two, the Mendoza line. I've been there, and I've been below it.
We've been below it a couple times too.
Not a good spot to be, especially when the umpire, when you argue a
Let
strike,
you know about it.
and let you know, like, man, you're hitting
It gets
175.
hot down there, huh?
It's tough, not good, not good.
What time is he supposed to join?
7:15.
Oh, okay. I'm not
Yeah.
worried about it. I thought it
Yeah,
was 7.
LSU basketball got a dub this past weekend.
Because I double texted him. I double linked him.
Okay, nice. Hey, I'm here, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not usually my
LSU
speed.
has probably had two or three games in the SEC they probably should have won that they threw away at the end of the game. Georgia being the most obvious one, up 13 with 3 minutes to go, lose the game. This past weekend, it was kind of flipped. They were down, and I believe Cam Carter scored like 7 points in the last 20 seconds of the game.
He went T-Mac.
Yeah, he went 3-pointer and then a 4-point play, which I should have had a 4-point play last time on a basketball game. The ref didn't call
God.
a 3. Made the 3, and I got fouled and didn't want to call it.
Goes from
Bullshit.
LSU winning its second conference game to Mikey.
But-
I also had a 4-point.
I did. I should have had one. Bullshit. But so he has 7 points in 20 seconds. LSU actually holds on and wins the game. Second SEC win. Not saying, oh, they're gonna go make a run by any means. Finally, nice for them to finally get another one. I think they play South Carolina,
They are.
which is a one they should win. They should be favored in that
No,
game.
maybe that would be the case, but you can't say they should win.
Have they not won an SEC game yet, right?
South Carolina is defeated in conference play. LSU is also they're two blind people fighting in the dark.
And they are
you have
both
2 wins from LSU and now 0 from South Carolina. It'll be fun to watch.
And so was it Oklahoma that they just played, right?
Yes.
And so Oklahoma had 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, LSU, look, I thought that you had to be every team makes a tournament, SEC tournament. I didn't know that. I thought every team but 2 teams made it, but
it's not baseball.
Everybody
team gets a chance.
Every team makes it, which hey, I'm not saying they're going to win it, but like at least I'm not saying that about it, but like at least make it to where like
I don't think they'll be seeded properly to make a run.
No, but I'm saying at least these guys will at least in the season with some pride.
Well, the biggest takeaway from this, like all of it, is that win, I guess, like it got enough to clear McMahon to keep his job because LSU came out and spoke about it. They're like, he's safe. He's not getting fired this year. Shea Dixon on 3 reported it today. That there was enough, I guess, smoke around it. We're like, let's get out in front of it.
Which is smart.
Well, they need to.
Did that with Billy Napier last year. Turn around Florida. Turns around LSU basketball this year.
Well, kind of the same team.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
But, I mean, it really was more of a tell on, like, look, we haven't given him the financial backing that he needs to be able to field a competitive basketball team.
Second lowest NIL
I mean,
offerings.
Auburn has like $8 million contributed to their basketball team.
Right, and that's why they're number 1, 2. Number 1, 2. I don't even know. I know they say 2. I don't even know if they have to. But
yeah, if they want to, and McMahon's not in the same position that Brian Kelly is, to where his contract looks as lucrative. Like I can put up $1 million. Like I don't think that's the play for him. It's just look, commit to be more like a Napier, where it's like, look, let me get this thing right because I took over when nothing was here.
Well, for sure. And look, you took over after somebody that was loved, right? Like nobody wanted Will Wade to go, and Will Wade's having success at McNeese. What?
All teams make the tournament in baseball now? That's what Mo Formuso was telling me.
Oh, it's a new thing.
Last year, that was like they were trying to get in.
Right.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, it's a new thing, and I think it's like single elimination. Like, yeah, it's a new thing. I forgot about that. Yeah.
So, yeah.
I didn't grow up in this era where everybody gets an award.
Participation trophies?
Yeah.
But yeah, so anyway, they, hopefully get another win, get to 3, and, see what happens.
Hey, you know it's better than 2?
3. I mean, it's, it's better than not winning anything.
Shocked that they, I didn't even know they played. And then the women's lost, so I guess that's why Schwartz is
Yeah,
there.
the women's.
I watched that game.
They were up by 14 points in the third quarter. Third quarter's been a bugaboo for them too.
The anti-Warriors.
Yeah, it hasn't been great for them. But yeah, it was not good. Tough game, but
no, I mean
winnable game.
We talked about this with Schwartz as to why I brought it up multiple times before he was on. Then I asked him about it. It's like, what is kind of happening when you kind of play with your food in the sense of being up 14, 23 multiple times, and then this goes on they go on a run. What are you doing over there? What are you laughing
I'm looking at LSU's basketball schedule in the season. I just kind of want to go through it with you.
Go for it.
So South Carolina, get the dub. Then they have to play at home against the number 2 ranked team in the country in Florida.
Their coach also cleared his name.
Yep.
Win enough.
At home, the next game after that, at home against number 6 team in the country in Tennessee. On the road at Mississippi State, which 21 team in the country, okay, maybe. At Kentucky, and then at home against Kentucky's 17th, and then at home right now against to end the season against 7th ranked A&M.
Jerry, you looking at the same thing?
No, I'm not.
So not good. I'm trying to buffer.
Don't bore me with this conversation.
I'm trying to buffer. I'm trying to buffer.
Respectfully, I'm about to say respectfully, we're giving way too much conversation to him right now. I'm just being completely honest.
What else we gotta wait? I'm trying to buffer until the next guest gets in here.
There's a real conversation about the women's team. Like, fucking figure it out.
Yeah, they got. I mean, but
that's not a lot of people want to go at the coaching of it, but you have to have something that you run to be able to get yourself points instead of ISO and chuck it up when there's 24 seconds on the shot clock still. Like, let's get some plays in there. I can't
Look,
just
I'm
do
with
a
you.
high ball screen and throw it out of bounds.
I'm with you.
I mean, you're the basketball guy on this show.
I
What's
didn't
you
watch
run?
I didn't watch the game,
Oh.
so I can't really offer any of the criticism.
But yeah,
or-
Lloyd, now you're the basketball guy since you got all the in-depth conversation about it. Go ahead, tell me what they need to do.
Well, I mean, Mikey just, I didn't play. I didn't play the sport. Mikey's got 5-point plays that he's drawing up
4
over there.
point.
So, yeah, well,
Can't have, it's impossible to have 5-point plays, Lloyd.
you don't know that.
4 point. And I hit a half court shot last night too. I did at the buzzer before halftime.
Yeah, not bad. Oh, you didn't pull up?
Yeah, just pull up like Steph Curry at the All-Star game.
The fuck you three?
Yeah. How about Wembayama getting pissed off that they lost? Did you see that?
No.
He was mad. He's like, at the press conference after, he said, "There's no reason why you can't go 100% in the game." Okay, perfect.
The show has just gotten better.
We buffered. All of the baseball conversation that we just had, that we had speculation about, and that we were asking questions to each other about, we can ask the man in charge, Coach Jay Johnson, coming off a weekend sweep. About as good of an opening weekend as you can anticipate having to start the season. Feel like everybody got an opportunity. Coach, welcome back to the show. We appreciate you jumping on. Won't keep you long. You had a long weekend. Obviously, you got 2 games to prepare for this weekend, but we always love having you. Lloyd was very excited that you were coming back on today.
Yeah, double texted. I usually don't do that.
Here we go. Let's go.
Let's go. I love it, Coach. All right, let's get it right into the conversation. Obviously, there's a lot of talk going into the season about how good the pitching staff could be. A lot of unknowns, a lot of young guys coming in, a whole new starting rotation than you had last year. Can't imagine that you envisioned it going any better than it did this past weekend. I mean, I don't know if LSU's ever had a 3-game weekend where they only walked 2 guys and they struck out, I think it was 45. Talk a little bit about how proud you are of the guys, and did it exceed the expectations that you had of this pitching staff the first weekend in?
Yeah, they obviously did a great job throwing strikes, and the game's about controlling the strike zone on both sides. Not chasing and swinging at balls on offense and attacking it from the pitcher's mound, or what we call suffocating the zone. And they did a great job of that this weekend. Obviously, the velocity, of so many guys grabs a lot of headlines, but for me, it was them landing all their pitches for strikes, and it just never seemed like we were chasing the count. And that was probably what I was most pleased with. And they did a great job.
And on the flip side, you obviously had a bunch of young guys on the offensive side, right? You had Curiel, which I'm going to ask you this. We actually had this debate. Is it Curiel or Curiel?
The second one, yeah.
Curiel.
You don't know
Yeah.
either.
Wow.
Just pick
Curiel.
Which one is it, Coach? Can you say it for us, please?
Curiel.
Curiel. Not even a Curiel. It's Curiel. Okay. So Curiel, opening day start, right? You had a bunch of new guys. Dickinson comes in, has a great opening weekend. You have Aaron Beatty getting in there. You had Luis Hernandez getting in there. What's your thoughts, or I guess what is your take on how the offense performed, especially the new guys that came in and kind of had to assimilate to the offense and to the culture here?
Yeah, I think they did a good job. I think it's a tough weekend to evaluate. It's cold, it's windy. We had to be patient for sure. I think we saw like 75% breaking balls through the course of the weekend, and so a little bit of that is hard to judge, but I thought they did a good job of controlling the strike zone first and foremost. I thought we did a good job of, taking the free bases, and then for the most part cashing in on them. We had 2 instances, one where we got a little bit unlucky, and then one where we didn't execute. But that can happen, early in the season. So I thought it was fine. Like, I'm not gonna, anoint us as some offensive juggernaut, and at the same time, I think we can be a really good team, offensively, and there's speed, there's power, there's solid hitting skills. There's an understanding of how to play within the game. And, that's something we just want to build on and be as complete as we can, so we can win a 2-1 game or a 13-9 game. And our players will tell you that's really important to me and to how we roll as a program, that you can win any type of game.
Coach, now the two most important things is obviously win and the competition of how these guys go out there and they play to go about their business. But for you, especially because of how the last couple of years on, I think people kind of forget about the rule change. How big was it for you to be able to play 9 in all 3 and kind of get guys in and get those at bats and get those innings and do what they need to do?
Well, first off, I want to give a massive shout out to Purdue Fort Wayne because we got dumped in September, and that's a tough late drop for like an opening weekend. And so I put it out there. I mean, we paid a big guarantee to come down here because we had to find somebody. I mean, we were looking at having to try to join some tournament or go on a road probably for the first time in LSU baseball history for opening weekend.
Wow.
In September. So really appreciative to Coach Schreiber. He's had a really good career as a college baseball coach, and that they came down here. So that was kind of the first thing that really stuck out about that. And then I wanted to say that publicly. So I actually forgot your question, Jared. Can you repeat it, please?
I said, well, y'all got to play all 9, all 3, and that's
that's a whole different subject. So the SEC now has the 10-run rule. Like, as the SEC team, we have no say. We're like locked into the 10-run rule unless the other team objects. And I was really happy that they objected, and it was great. I mean, I think, in all 3 games, we filled every spot in the lineup card where a different player finished the game in that spot than whoever the starter was. And, we have guys worthy of playing time. We have guys that we're going to need to get opportunities for the development of this team, but there's a lot of guys that we feel like are kind of the next wave of players, in this program are here right now. And you can only play 9 at a time. So to kind of get that first one out of the way, whether it was first pitching appearance, first at bat, first time in the field for a lot of guys, was a real positive of this weekend.
Yeah, Coach, I'm glad you mentioned the competition and the depth that you have. And obviously, it's 3 games in. Nobody's saying anything other than, hey, this will look really good. It's hard to project the future because it was the first 3 games of the season. But with that being said, you have a lot of guys on your team, on the offensively specifically, that are vying for at bats. There's only 9 guys you can start. There's only so many at bats you can have. The outfield in particular feels like it's as talented, as deep as it's been in a long time. You start the first game of the season with Larson on the bench. Then Larson comes in the next 2 games and he's lights out at 7 RBIs, and all of the outfielders played really well. How do you envision being able? You've done a really good job of this, by the way, of the last 3 years you've been here,
Mikey. Okay.
But of getting guys at bats, of putting guys in there, getting them opportunities. But how do you envision that playing out? How are you going to be able to go mix and match? Is it matchup based? Is it performance based? Is it just, hey, let's flip a coin and just see how we go?
Play a rover?
Yeah, I don't carry any coins in my pocket, so it could be anything. It could be anything that you said. What I will say is there's always a reason for doing what we're doing, in the short term and a little bit in the long term. Like, I think, at a place like LSU, you could just feel like you get spoiled and you're supposed to win every game that you play, and especially against, some of the non-conference competition. And I don't ever treat any game like that. Like, first and foremost, we're lining the team up to win the game that's in front of us. Now, when you have more than 9 starting caliber players, which I believe that we do, you have to think creatively about setting it up for their strengths. Like you mentioned, Ashton, not only did he have the great performance, when he started on Sunday, but Saturday, I believe we were in a 5-1 game or a 6-1 game, and we'd actually set the lineup for him to be able to pinch hit in a spot that he came up with runners on base, and he had a 2-run single.
Yeah.
And so, like, you just kind of look for those types of things. Like, I want to play him. I want to play Josh Pearson. I want to play Jake Brown. Obviously, want to play Stanfield and Curiel. I want to play the catchers.
Right.
And it goes beyond that. Like a player like Tanner Reeves had a really good preseason practice for us, and you saw him play and get at bats in all 3 games. Like, there's going to be some of that, but it's always just in the context of winning the game in front of us. And just, it's one of those things I rely on my experience of looking back at kind of what's worked and how to blend the whole thing together and keep everybody ready to roll. And I do take pride in that being good at that part of the job.
Coach, 1 weekend through it obviously doesn't mean much. There's so much left. There's so much meat left on the bone. But 7 at-bats, 5 walks. How many come take a seat right here? Let's talk about his situations. Do you expect to kind of have with Jared Jones going through the rest of the year and kind of letting them know what he may see and what he has to be ready to do when he actually gets an opportunity?
Yeah. So, we've talked a lot about Barry Bonds here recently, and think about how many games that Barry Bonds went 1 for 2 with a home run, 2 walks, 4 quality at bats. And I don't even know if they did exit velo back then, but both balls, both balls put in play were hit 105 miles an hour. And so that's kind of our bar, you know what I mean? And look, everybody has strategy and this and that, and he's earned the reputation of being one of the best and most dangerous power hitters in the country, but it's not going to work. To just put him on base, you're putting a lot of pressure on your pitcher by doing that. And so I'm not too worried about it. And more importantly, I mean, he's improved in his whole time here. Yeah. He's improved a lot in the last 3 weeks. You might go look at it. I think I looked today, he was 2 for 7 with 5 walks. If anybody is on base at a 600 clip, that means our team is going to win, so I'm good with that. And he did a great job this weekend. I think 3 of his outs were hit 105 miles an hour or better. So it's not just about the homers or the walks, but man, that's going to work out more times than not. So good start for Jared.
Yeah, and Jared being a part of this last year where it felt like it was almost feast or famine with the home run ball, with Tommy White, Bear Jones. Now you have Bear Jones stealing bases. On Friday, it felt like you kind of wanted to get out in front of that and show the crowd that this is a different version of how we're going to play baseball. And then Saturday we can also do this too.
Well, I don't know about the style thing. What's baseball? Baseball scoring runs and preventing runs. And I actually did a study on this about 3 weeks ago, since the bats changed. So I think it was 2011, if I remember right.
Yep. Mikey's very aware.
Yep. My first year, my junior year.
I was only, I think I was associate head coach at USD at the time. That was my worst year of coaching in my entire career.
It was brutal.
The bats changed. But I took it, so I guess it's been 14 or 15 teams now at LSU. And the highest scoring team was obviously 2023. The second highest scoring team was 2022, my first year. The third was 2017, the year that they played for the championship. And the fourth was actually 2024 last year, which I actually was happy about because I didn't think we were that good, to be honest with you. So, or we could have been better. So for me, the whole power, base stealing, bunting, we want to be good at all of it. And if you came and watched practice, you see we're working to be good at all of it. So we can win any type of game. And I always remind people, in 23, it gets overlooked a lot because we hit 144 or 148 home runs. But in the postseason, there are some real hallmark moments of us being able to execute. The first game against Tulane, we dropped down 2 perfect sacrifice bunts, jump out to a 5-run lead. Well, that's a 100-run lead with Paul Skeens on the mound. Right. Gavin Dugas was hitting the 4-hole, perfect what we call zero drag bunt against Tulane, against Tennessee. They throw it into right field. We get 2-run cushion, and that sets the tone for the whole run right there. In the first game of the finals, in the first meeting with Florida, or the first inning, Trey Morgan executed a perfect hit and run, set the tone. Beloso drives in Dylan, I think, and we end up with a 1-run win. Yeah. And so it's just kind of been in the shadows of all the power, but it's always been there. And I'm never going to do something to impart my style. We're going to impart scoring runs, which we've been very good at here for 3 years and 3 games.
Coach, so I love that you bring that up, but there's also like a feeling side of you that I know is kind of gotta warm you a little bit when you look at the speed that's at the top, when you look at the speed that's available at the bottom. Like, does that kind of bring you back to like that, like I guess like a comfortable feel for you, something where you're like, this feels super familiar, and obviously I'm not going to make them do anything. I'm going to let them go play to their strengths, but does that feel good for you?
Yeah, for sure. So first, you should play better defense if you're more athletic.
Right.
And I think we did. And we had a catcher's interference error, and we had a PFP pitcher throwing error on like a swinging bunt on Saturday. And other than that, it was, air-free baseball. Now, we struck out so many guys, there wasn't a ton of plays to be made. So let's hold the phone on calling us a great defensive team just yet. But good athleticism usually manifests itself in good defense. Yep. Another thing I do, like 2 weeks before the season always, I bring my old college coach. He comes and watches us for like 3 or 4 scrimmages in a row and takes notes and kind of evaluates. And I mean, it jumped right off the top. He's like, all right, that's like you. That like reminds me of how you've always played and style of play and all those types of things. And frankly, what I've broken it down to here is winning in the SEC is different than winning in Omaha. And to do what we want, you have to do both. And I think this team is built for that. And to your point, Jared, we did it a little bit different way on Friday and Sunday than we did on Saturday. Actually, Friday we did it one way, Saturday we did it one way, and Sunday was a blend of both.
Coach, we talked a lot about the offense, but I think the pitching staff obviously is what everybody was impressed with this weekend. I know as a head coach, you sit there and you don't want to say too much before the season starts, and you just want the play to talk. But I think that you severely underplayed how extremely talented these guys are, because you hear everybody talk about William Schmidt, who was lights out, Maverick Rizzi, who was lights out, and then you forget that Kason Evans came in through and throwing 98, 99 Friday, and people aren't even talking about him. He was probably the third most impressive guy that came out of the pen over the weekend. Talk a little bit about those new guys, especially the 3 that I just mentioned, the 3 freshmen. We knew what to expect, obviously, from Chase Shores, how talented he is. They saw what Kate Anderson did last year. Anderson had some experience in college, but those 3 freshmen came in there early on and dominated. Can you talk a little bit about them and how their development has progressed over the last 5 months?
Yeah, happy to. All of them huge recruiting wins. I mean, huge recruiting wins to get them committed and signed 2 Novembers ago or last November, whatever. And then getting them through the draft. I mean, we certainly, some of our signees got picked up in the draft. I think we lost 4 of them, which, is what it is. But these guys all had an opportunity to go to pro baseball and decided that they want to be here. And it's going to work out just fine for all of those guys in terms of how much they're going to enjoy their life, for 2 or 3 years, and then be really prepared to make a quick ascent to Major League Baseball. And they all have the talent to pitch in the Major League someday. But for me, it's like the makeup piece that's separate. And I would throw Cooper Williams in there too. So I will say all 4 of them. It's the talent. I mean, you don't have to be like a longtime baseball scout when those guys took the mound this weekend to go like, wow, that catches your attention. But they're all great people also. Like these exact players that I want to have in the program at LSU. And I'd say the same for William Schmidt, Kason Evans, Maverick Rizzi, Cooper Williams. Like, there's only 4 of them, but it just shows you how high the quality is that we want in going after here at LSU. And they all got a great future, and they got a great present here right now.
Coach, and I'm not talking about just this team, so I don't want it to feel like I'm talking about this team. But as a head coach, what helps you sleep better at night? Knowing that you have 5 to 6 guys that can start for you, or knowing that I can literally close my eyes and point out the pin which one that could come in, and either one of them's going to come and get the job done?
Yeah, no, so that's a good question. I'll take both. Yeah.
That's an easy answer. What do you mean?
He's the one that did it.
Always laugh, like, people like will say like, what was your best coaching year? And, One will
next
be
one.
there. One we didn't go to a regional, but we won 34 games and we're like the first team out with a 6.28 ERA. That was a good coaching job. I don't. You can have a good team, with okay pitching and great rest of it, but you can't have a great team if you can't pitch. And obviously we saw that in 23. The fact that we were so deep, we survived. 4 season-ending injuries to guys that also may be major league pitchers someday, and still won the national championship. And that was because we had great depth on the pitching staff, and we had to hit it really hard because last year we did lead the country in strikeouts, and we sent more pitchers to pro baseball than any team in the history of the SEC. So, it's a lot of new, and there's still a lot of new, but. The talent is obviously something we feel good about. And just like I talked about with the 4 freshmen, the makeup is really strong. We can utilize a lot of guys, if guys can go deep into the game and can certainly match up. And, all of it is really important. And I'm really happy that a lot of those guys decided to be here.
Coach, you mentioned some injuries that have happened over the years, but now you have one of those guys is Chase Shores. How kind of almost fulfilling was it to see him go through that journey and be able to get that start on a Sunday and come back and kind of start a new chapter in the same book?
Yeah, it's awesome. I love Chase. I said this in the media deal, you're probably not supposed to have favorites as a coach, but he's a very talented guy. He's one of the most talented guy, or one of the first guys like that chose us when we came to LSU. And, that was a big deal for us. And then we got him through the draft, and then he earned, a spot in the rotation as a freshman on that team. And he pitched great. And we threw him in the fire right away against Texas A&M, Arkansas, and Tennessee. And he pitched great, in the spots that we put him in on that team. And then when he got hurt, that was a thunderbolt. And we've talked about that before. So just kind of watching him from that point, how well he handled it, and every day of the last 18 months or 22 months, however long it's been now, to get back to the mound and see him run out there and, have success and look like the good pitcher and great pitcher that we think he is was really awesome. It's great for Chase, and he deserves it. It's also really, really great for our team and for our program.
That would have made 2023 much easier.
Yeah, well, and here's the deal. You as an offense, you think Sunday, okay, we're going to get a little let up. Purdue, Fort Wayne, or whoever is going to be playing on Sunday is like, damn, we got to face a guy throwing 100 now after we just went through Friday and Saturday and we're in brawls for 2 days. Now you got to face a guy throwing 100. It's nice to have him at the back end of the rotation right now.
Yeah, 100%. And he's been getting better. I think Coach Eske's done a really good job with these guys. And, it's not just the velocity. And that's what Coach Schreiber said to me. I talked to him for a few minutes after the game yesterday. It's just they're landing all their off-speed pitches, the command, they're ahead in the count, they're mixing, they hold the ball well. You can't run because everybody's 1-1 to the plate. Right. They field their position. We take pride in all that stuff. And again, we want to make it really hard we want to be hard to play. That's one of my goals is I want to be really, really hard to play. And like I said, Coach Eske's doing a great job with those guys. And I think they're in a good headspace and they should be very confident in their abilities. And, they're going to get tested a lot more than that, as we go forward. But I feel good about not just the talent, but the character piece.
Coach, so because of the built-in rivalry of what I'm about to kind of mention right here, I want to know if there was anything behind the scenes that happened. One, obviously, as a coach, I would imagine this had to feel really good watching him do this, but also because of who else is in the dugout.
Thumbs up.
Yeah, it already worked.
Let's go.
But because of the younger Pearson, the double down the right field line for his first at-bat ever, how good did that feel as a coach? And did you look at Josh and be like, Jesus, if only you could do something like this?
No, man. Hey, man. Josh Pearson can do no wrong in my eyes.
Of course. Go ahead.
Yeah, and it was really cool. we did something different this year where like the players' families, they have like these tags, like, so everybody knows, like, and they're really sharp looking. Like everybody knows if it's a parent of a player based on them wearing these,
cool.
fancy lanyards, and they get to come down on the field after the game. And I saw Bill and Anna, that's their mom and dad, their dad and mom, obviously. And I just was like, I grabbed Bill and I was like, dude, how cool a day was that? Like, both of them hit a double. I think it might have even been in the same inning.
Yeah.
We're on the field together at LSU. Like, that's got to go down as one of the coolest days of your life. And, they're both good players, but they're just great people. You know what I mean? And like I mentioned with some of the pitchers earlier, like that's what has me cautiously optimistic. Because, again, we're going to get tested. We're going to play a great schedule. Things aren't going to go whatever the score was today, 32-2 every time. But love the Pearsons and excited to have Josh here for one more year and John for another 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Coach, he's faster than he looks.
Yeah, he can move a little bit for a big guy.
Yeah, we put him into pinch run yesterday.
Tell you, you're making a statement.
He told Josh Simpson, our first base coach, I don't think I've ever been put into pinch run before.
Hey, you never know when your number's going to get called. Coach, great weekend. Obviously, we're looking forward to the weekends to come. Obviously, you got 2 midweek games tomorrow. Little matinee surprise for the squad. 2:00 game against Southern. Then you're on the road against Nichols. 2 midweek games. So obviously, season's starting to ramp up. We're looking forward to watching you throughout the course of the rest of the year, having you on the show, talking baseball with you. We enjoy always having you on. And good luck the rest of the way. Good luck this week. And looking forward to talking to you again next week.
All right, guys. See you soon.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, he's got to get back in against Southern.
Hey,
I got to get that thing right.
Leads the country in stolen bases after 1 weekend.
He also needs to go charge his laptop because that was Maureen's. If you noticed the Zoom.
Well, I did not notice the Zoom.
So that's how busy he is.
That's it.
And has 2 laptops.
Hey, whatever he needs to do to get it done.
2 laptops, 3 dubs. We'll take it.
No doubt.
Behind every good man.
More laptops than walks.
There you go.
Walks giving up. Crazy. He answered the questions like we anticipated. Obviously, there's nothing really more to talk about. Hey, we did everything we needed to do week 1. Very proud of the guys for being ready to go week 1. Competition is going to continue to ramp up as the season goes. As long as they're ready, they get the experience, and then they're ready to step up whenever the competition is at its highest is what's most important for him.
I have a question for you two fellas.
Okay.
Do you think that he knows they're good? Like, does it not feel a little bit
No,
different?
he knows.
It's not a little bit different than...
Yeah, without a doubt.
Well, I think he knows they're good in a whole different way than, like, the 2023 team. Like, I think he knows they're good because he knows how talented they are on the mound, and he knows the offense is going to be fine. Right? The offense ain't going to be bad, right? But he's, like, has that confidence because he knows, like, damn, it's going to be hard for teams to score a lot of runs against us. And I think that gives coaches a lot of confidence.
Well, I think kind of
I think what makes him, I think what makes him cautiously optimistic, as he said, is because they are so damn talented and they're so damn deep that he's probably sitting there thinking like, all right, man, like we're healthy, we're talented, we're deep, and we're clicking. Like these guys kind of get it. Like I want to walk on eggshells because I know it's not going to be this for all 56. So like, where does and I don't mean to like undermine any of the work that he's done, but like, where does my real coaching job come in? Because I know he's not doing that, but it almost feels like if this continues to go this way, it's almost like, hey, roll the balls out there, put the guys up there, and they're going to get it done because they're that talented right now. But I know that's not what he's doing. Like, so I'm not sitting here saying that, but I know he's probably sitting here thinking like, all right, where am I going to have to insert myself a little more, you know?
Yeah.
Well, I feel like you kind of, like you touched on it a little bit when you said, like, does this feel more familiar to you? And he was like, well, I'm not saying yes, it felt like, yeah, it does. Like, I'm more used to coaching a team like this than the previous teams that he's had at LSU.
Yeah. And look, instead of having 3 guys with 20+, he may have 5 guys with, 1 guy with 20 and 4 other guys with 10+, right? Like, we didn't have, look, in 2009, we only had 1 guy over 20, right, which was Schimpf, and we had a bunch of guys that were underneath 20, but we had a bunch of guys in double digits. Huh?
Right?
Who?
Schiff and Dean.
Dean didn't have 20 in 09.
Okay.
I don't think.
I don't know. I will say this though. I can tell you what he's never had before. That stable of arms on the pitching staff. He's never had that. I can promise he's never had that.
No, 100%. Never had that.
Blake Dean had 17 bombs.
17 homers. That's what I was going to say. I mean, we had a bunch of guys. Leon had 12, you know.
But that's what we kind of talked about earlier, though. That was different. If you got to 15 plus, then that was different.
Right.
You got to 20. 20 was like 30 now.
Right.
Like you get to 30 and everybody's like, shit.
Yeah.
20 was that when we were.
Yeah, and what I'm saying is like, you know, like we had 22, 17, 11, 12. Right? So you had 4 guys in double digits. Sean had 9. Like you had, it feels like this team could be like that. Maybe more guys with 10 plus, but it feels like, I mean, if you go look at, a ton of doubles, ton of triples. Like it feels like that. This. I'm not comparing teams. I'm just saying style of offense. It's gonna be more of a complete offense, not just rely on the long ball.
Yeah. 7.
I look at it now as like, I just me. I think now that 15-ish number kind of plays like the old school 20. So anything kind of like over 15, you're like, okay, he can leave. And that 30 number plays like the old school 15 number plays like the old school like 10-ish. And that 20 number, 30 these days, they kind of play the same as each other now.
Yeah. Facts. Like I said, I want to see what since they changed the ball, I want to see what the home run totals have been.
I mean, he did not on the ball, but the bats.
Yeah, well, the combination of both. Like, I want to see what the home run totals have been since then, compared to before they changed the bats.
Do you think he would have ranked our draft if we showed him?
No,
I don't think so either. But I wanted to take a swing.
No,
I didn't do it. He gets a better judgment.
Definitely not. Would not have done that. Definitely not.
No chance he was doing that. He might have just hung up the ball right there.
Like, hey, look, I've grown. I've matured. 2 years ago, I'm asking.
Lloyd, you going to game tomorrow?
Yes.
Are you?
Yes.
Okay.
I did also remember to not wash my credential as I did last year. They put it in a nice little laminated.
Hey, Jared, whenever you come to a game at some point, you do have a credential.
Appreciate you.
Go snag it when you walk in.
Yeah,
they're nice this year. They're nice.
Go and collect my $200.
Yeah, they're nice. They're nice. They're not paper this year. They're like in nice lanyards.
Like, I thought I was getting.
They're built for the long term this year.
Yeah, I thought I was getting one a game because like this is a piece of paper.
Right.
And like, no, you needed that all year. I was like, you can't expect anybody to keep up with this. Certainly not me. Right. Like this thing is toast. But they have you a spot down the left field line with the press row. Jared, you got to sit over there.
With your laptop.
With your laptop. And
write notes.
Yeah, you can't do anything other than watch and write.
Whatever.
My spot got taken.
I'll just start heckling players. I don't care.
Plenty of Diet Coke.
Yeah. Plenty of looking forward to the day where the squad's roaming the Alex Box Stadium again together.
Mm-hmm.
Or
well, I think it'll be
postseason.
Well, I know what I'm really I was gonna say Omaha.
Postseason.
That's where we do our best work.
Yeah, that's where we do our best work.
Maybe SEC.
So we got Birmingham and Omaha. That's what we do.
When is that? I gotta make sure I don't think I'm in town, unfortunately.
For Omaha?
I don't want to hear that
shit. For Birmingham and Hoover.
Selfish.
May 20 to 25th. Definitely, couldn't be more
right.
Of
where you're not going to be there.
Couldn't be wrong. More wrong of a date.
Well, that's good because it would have been my fault. I think I'm going to London, but I got to get my passport.
We're both gonna be out of the country.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Crazy. Both kind of good. We're both be in Europe.
Yeah.
Different parts.
Oh, like travelers, huh?
Different parts, but both be in Europe.
I have fucking interest in going to London, but I guess I'll do it. Like, what's there? I don't even know what to do.
That'll be fun.
Rain.
You'll figure it out.
Rain. That's what I think of. And fish, like bad fish.
You'll figure it out.
Yeah, I don't even. I don't like beer either.
Did you? Were you prepared for the seggies today?
I am prepared for.
And I apologize if there's any questions in the chat.
I've vetted them.
We
got to all of them.
Oh, we have. Let's say we're on a roll. I feel like we're gonna hit on everything.
Do you want to?
Curiel.
I still don't think you know.
Curiel.
That was a shot in the dark.
I thought it was Curiel or Curiel, but it's Curiel.
That's how I've been saying it. It's mercurial.
So good to know.
Yeah, we'll forget immediately after this.
I'm gonna call Doug right after this and tell him.
Look, send him the clip.
It's not Curiel. It's not Curiel. It's Curiol.
Curiol.
All right, mistake of the day.
Well, Curiol, all your needs for a segment that we don't have sponsored, but if you'd like to, feel free. The mistake of the day. This was in the news recently, and it felt like it was a part of life and a time where this was the news of the NFL, where it was everything was reported on, player health, player safety, all of these nonsense things. Turns out, Jonathan Martin, remember Richie Incognito, not so incognito, having a little bit of a history. Jonathan Martin, who was allegedly bullied and was basically wanted to kill himself.
Ruined careers.
Made sure Incognito couldn't be signed by any team when he could still play. So it cost him money.
Made it feel like the Dolphins were a disaster of an organization.
Got people fired.
Yep.
Oh, it turns out not so much. He's like, it was just easier to lie about it.
Because I was at mental illness.
Jonathan Martin lied because it was easier than telling the truth. Usually that's what most humans lie. But the biggest issue, problem, gripe, frustration I have about Martin's recent admission to ESPN is that he lied about being bullied by Miami Dolphins teammate in the saga that infamously was known as Bullygate. An 144-page report was done, and just because Martin couldn't be honest with himself, his family, and everyone else, it ruined lives. I never believed for a second I was being bullied, Martin said, in an ESPN and a well-crafted story. So just to see all this come out, it's just one of those things where I guess you're far enough removed from the game now to be like, oh, I wasn't bullied. And now you have
statute of limitations.
You have Richie Incognito on Twitter and Instagram posting like, oh,
you think that he was just
gonna
you think that I was just gonna let that slide? He was gonna let that slide by?
Crazy that he was like, no, I'm not. But Richie Incognito, you could have picked a better person to paint as a bully.
For sure.
Yeah, he's insane, but not bully.
I mean, how did that?
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah,
that's great.
Like, how can you imagine? Like, how did those locker rooms? Because everybody's like, bro, I haven't seen him do anything to you, right? And it's like everybody's like, damn, did you do anything?
They came up with like
no, I didn't do
that were like,
I know.
I guess fabricated.
Wow, that's wild. Definitely a mistake. Didn't work out the way.
Because they had the voicemail, remember?
Yeah, but it was like the voicemail was always. It felt like it was like a veteran guy just razzing a rookie. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Never felt. Oh, that's tough. That's a bad deal. All right, curtain call. Curtain call brought to you by our friends at Perkins McKenzie Insurance. Do y'all have one, or do you want to do the?
I want Lloyd to play the video of the hockey team after the game. It should be pretty easy to find.
Okay.
That's what I want.
So that'll be the team because my curtain call is going to be USA, the hockey team, and kind of how they responded after the booing of the national anthem.
That's crazy.
Right.
Is it oh, here we go. I got it.
You
Hockey
found it?
people are crazy. Just in general, it seems like a good group of guys. Like it's probably base.
It's called Four Nations Face Off. I don't know. That's the name of the tournament, I guess. I don't know.
Is this like electric or is it just?
Is this it?
It's a team. They do a whole team chant, boy. They got a dance up the whole team thing that goes on.
Is this it?
No,
That's not it.
It's not.
I don't know what I'm looking
It's not that
for.
hard to find. Like just.
I mean, I'm looking for it too. I don't see it. I don't see it either. Like I don't know.
It's okay, because we shouldn't have played that anyway. That we'll have to go cut that out because that song isn't popular or anything. It won't be flagged at all. Dream On might be the most popular song in America. But no, I can't find it. I'm sorry. I'm usually pretty good at like but I don't.
I'm trying to find it too.
Yeah. I just missed this entire. I wasn't in Hockeygate.
I mean, I found it that quick. I found it really quick.
Because it's in your algorithm, Jared. You already seen it.
That's not why. I searched it actually, Lloyd. It's not that
I
hard.
searched Team USA hockey locker room.
Me too. That's exactly what I said.
I told you it was a team chant
Well,
after
I mean,
the game,
I didn't-
so you
well,
probably
I was
should
already
put
typing
it
when
in
you
there
said
as
that.
well. I told
found
you.
it.
All right, did you send it to him? Did you send
Look
it?
at that. I got it. I
Did
got
you send it to
Yeah, I
him?
just sent it to him. Yeah.
Is it this one? Because I found it and I'm not looking at my phone.
Because the one you played is the one that came up on my first search.
Yeah,
I get it.
I didn't know what it was. I was blind. Flying blind here, Goose. Is it this one?
Yeah. Hockey's wild. Look at the guy with the helmet in the middle. Yeah, that's pretty wild.
Electric.
That's pretty wild. Love hockey. Love
Yeah.
hockey. I don't know a lot about it, but I love it.
Well, I know that there's like you better be a fucking dude if you're gonna go out there. It's like football. There's teeth
You
everywhere.
can't hide.
Nuh-uh.
Can't hide. It's gonna be hard hitting, and
That was
I
fucking
love it.
electric.
I love hockey games, especially playoff hockey, which this is like playoff hocky,
I think it's
especially
more.
after.
I'm
yeah.
surprised y'all seen all of this stuff about it, but didn't see that.
I hadn't seen that. They need to do it. My algorithm needs to do a better job
That's
putting
you-
that in
that's
front
your-
of me.
That's your job, I guess.
But I think that's a show, Kurt. Unless you got one, Lloyd.
That's
All right.
great.
Love that. The United States plays Canada. They're playing Sweden right now. I think it's 1-1, but they play Canada again on Thursday. So, obviously, you saw the emotion in that. I'd imagine there's going to be just as much, if not more, on Thursday. So, all right. Great show today, boys. Full of baseball conversation. Everybody's been asking for it. We gave it to them. Give the people what they want. Had a nice baseball conversation with Dougie coming in. That'll be a lot more frequent. And then obviously Jay coming in on Monday, which he does regularly, which will end up being Wednesday because LSU took our Monday slot for his radio show. But great show. Enjoyed having conversations. I hope that you enjoyed the conversation as much as we did. Please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you don't like watching us, but you like listening to us or anywhere you get your pods, we'll be back live in studio on Wednesday from 6 to 8-ish. Ask Mikey Mitch. We'll pub it, I promise. Not going to have any, obviously, baseball players on the show because they'll be playing. And so we'll probably be having the game streaming as we go. We'll talk it through, talk sports.
We need to holler at old Beloso.
Yeah, maybe get Malazzo in here. Maybe get
Both.
Kuhn.
Coon.
Yeah.
Not a player, but knowledgeable.
Yeah. Loves baseball. Enjoy the rest of your Monday. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all. See you on Wednesday. Peace. Jay.
Give the people what they want.
See you, boys.
Thumbs them up. Thumbs them up. Do it. Do it. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh! Look at that exit. Look at that exit.
Yeah.
Did you change that?
Yeah. Rocking it.
Did you do that?
Oh, no.
Wow. That's
No.
amazing. Love that. All right.
Okay,
See ya. What a great way to sign off. That you got to do that every day now.
Only if it's a good show.
Only if it's a good show.
I can do it.
Peace.
That was awesome.
That was great.